The best way to make sure you improve as a cyclist is actually consistency. And that is where this comes in. Now this is Nordic Track's Tour de France indoor training bike, and I'm going to give you a full rundown on it today because it might be something that you or someone in your household would find very useful. I'll take you through the bike itself, its spec, what we can change, what we can adjust, as well as the iFit program that is accessible via a membership on this big LCD screen at the front of the bike. So before I take you through the bike itself, which is very well made, and there are a few different things that you can adjust and move and change, including which electronic gear setup, so the size of the cassette that you would hypothetically be running, which I think is quite handy. But I'll take you through the electronic iFit platform that you can access through a membership by using the Tour de France bike. Now, you know me, I absolutely love riding out in Mallorca, and the iFit guys have just spent 3 weeks out there creating a whole series. I think it's a 5-week series, 31 different workouts. Some of them are strength-based workouts that you do off the bike. Some of them are obviously on the bike. And the ones that are on the bike are led by people like Danny Rowe and Sir Bradley Wiggins, kind of Olympic medalists. And that's the key selling point, is that you can have an hour workout where you are riding with someone who is guiding you through the ride whilst seeing the location that you're riding in on screen. So let me take you through this very quickly because we're not going to take too long on it, but I'm going to give you a rundown on what one of their programs is like, so you can see for yourself. So I know they did a big old workout series out in Mallorca earlier this year, so we're just going to try and find that and then take you through kind of what that looks like. So here are all the results for the Mallorca series, and you'll see that you can do different workouts. They have ride like Sacalobra, so you'll be taken up Sacalobra while someone's talking to you, and there are a few other routes in there, one of which is one that I am doing during the Mallorca Masters in 3 weeks. So I've actually done it a couple of times on here just to familiarize myself with the climb, with the corners, which I thought was quite good fun. But once we've found some of the workouts we like, we can just find the whole series. There is an entire series which is Train for a Tour series, which is hosted by Bradley Wiggins, Danny Rowe, Nick Roach, I think it is, and one of the iFit trainers. And in here you have all the workouts that are scheduled for you to work your way through. So you get a 2-minute trailer, and then you get a 41-minute Selva Plaza power ride with Bradley Wiggins, and plus off the bike training sessions with Hannah Eden. So that'd be things like strength work, core work that you can do as well. You can twist the LCD screen on the bike so that you can do it if you have somewhere, maybe you have this set up in a little home gym or even in the bedroom. And then you get things like a Port de Soyer activation ride with Danny Rowe, which is 1 hour and 3 minutes, 17 miles. I imagine quite a bit of climbing, which brings me to a good point about the bike itself, is that it does adjust the incline and decline whilst you are riding, and that obviously goes in hand with the resistance that comes through when you are riding. So when you're going up a hill, it does become harder to turn the pedals. Let's take a look at what it's like to actually be running one of these programs. So this is it. This is what iFit Nordic Track is all about, which is these immersive experiences where I am now riding with Danny Rowe and Bradley Wiggins doing a Port de Soyer climb. And I get to see it, I get Danny talking me through it. She will change the gradients as we go. Down the bottom of the screen, you get all the different variations in gradient that we're going to be going through. Then at the top, we get everything that you might be familiar with as a cyclist. Things like gearing that we can change. It's pretty simple. You are running on the left-hand side, a shifter which will change your front chain ring, and then on the second side, on the right-hand side, you're running your rear cassette. And you can change these. You can certainly change which rear cassette you have on, like a 3411, or maybe you might be running a SRAM like a 3310. You can change that in settings. You can even change it from 10 speed to 11 speed, 12 speed. That's totally up to you. So if you are doing stuff that's really climby, then you can probably have a larger rear cassette on, make it a little bit easier for yourself. The other thing that you do get, which is things like watts, cadence, time remaining, speed, that kind of thing, all included. And then obviously one of the key selling points is the elevation will change on the ride, and that will increase the incline of the bike itself. Let's talk hardware. This is a 24-inch touchscreen display, and you can run other apps on it, home screening services, streaming services, for instance. So you can sit and ride and just watch one of your favorite shows if you want. But I do suggest one of the 10,000 workouts that they have available on the iFit platform. Not all of those are going to be for the bike specifically, but they do have like a really big library. And interestingly, one of my jobs is actually helping film these. So I've helped film the London Marathon twice, the Sydney Marathon twice, and a couple of different other workout series, which has always been a lot of fun. Let's talk the bike itself and the points of which you can adjust so that you can fit it to suit your needs. We've already been over the fact that there are shifters. Obviously you are running a drop handlebar, so if you do want to do a sprint, you can go down onto the drops. There are shifters, rear cassette on the right, front cassette, front train ring on the left. Very simple, one click up and down a gear. The gears are obviously shown on screen. Now there are a few different points at which you can change, obviously things like saddle height, very easily adjustable with a simple rotation, saddle up and down, and same with the saddle fore and aft. And that is going to position you relative to the pedals. And on pedals, you can put whatever pedals you want onto the bike. You just have to thread them through yourselves. I run Look Keo pedals, had to put it through and use an Allen key to tighten them up, and then everything was golden. The other thing is it runs up to 20% incline, 10% decline, so they refer to it as kind of a real world feel. And you get that, as you can see on screen, when you start doing the different elevations that come through on the platform. It's also worth pointing out that aside of the Nordic track and the iFit and the bike itself, that I personally didn't use too much, but might be for someone, or might be for someone's partner, might be for someone in the household, is the actual live classes that they also have on screen available for you to do, where it's basically like turning up and doing a live spin ride class. And that way you just follow an instructor, the speaker will provide you with all the information, you can hear everything that's going on, and it just creates that immersive experience of being in a studio and basically partaking in a studio class, which is obviously another advantage of having the iFit platform. Lastly, on the bike, the other thing that can be adjusted is quite simply bar height. So if you struggle with lower back issues, you can just run a slightly higher bar. It's effectively like slamming or not slamming a stem on your actual bike in the real world. So you can get it pretty close to the setup that you would run outside. The only thing that you might have to get used to is not having actual shifter levers, just buttons that sit on the hoods, up on the hoods themselves, which is fine. Wasn't a problem for me. One thing worth pointing out is this bike is $3,000. The iFit platform comes at a subscription service, which is a separate monthly payment. So you're going to buy the bike, $3,000 US, and then the subscription service to get access to the immersive rides that they produce that sit on the platform that you can work your way through. For $3,000, you get a really well-built at-home training bike, and you can see exactly what they've done here, which is they've taken that studio experience and created something that you can have at your own home, still do studio classes, but more importantly, do all the immersive expedition rides that they have available on the app, which I think adds a lot of value, because if you're someone like me, motivation counts for a lot. Continually turning up and continually doing something is probably going to get me more results than doing it sporadically but going really hard. So there you are, that is the rundown on this particularly lovely bit of at-home training kit. And I'm just having a look at a few of the workouts I haven't done out in Mallorca, because I'm going to dive on and do one now. I mean, you have Pygmalion with Sir Bradley Wiggins, you have Sacalobra Strength and Threshold Ride with Nico Roche. So there's a bunch of different options. I mean, they are all over the world. We're not just talking about Mallorca, just I seem to have my particular favorites, and this content has just recently come out, so it's nice, it's new, and it's fun. I've liked working my way through it. So I think I'm going to go and do a Sabatala climb, which is one of the climbs, like I said, that's going to be on the Mallorca Masters race that I have in 3 weeks. Good just to get used to doing it, and also the nice thing is I can take it easy or I can push really hard, seeing as I'm doing it from my own home. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know whether it's something that you might be interested in, or whether it's someone in your family, maybe it's a wife, maybe a partner, one of your kids might be looking to get into doing more bike training, because something like this, I think the whole point of it is that it keeps you motivated, it keeps you coming back. There is a series of really great trainers to work with who are constantly creating studio and immersive content for you to follow along with, and that's what keeps bringing you back. Do let me know what you think, guys, and I will see you in another one soon.